back to your first slide.
I can do that. I shall. I just have to share my screen. I have to go back. Okay, so very briefly, lots of ways of laying out your portfolio pages. But I will say I really recommend top left for your text and to keep it consistently in that location. In basic organization, please be consistent in the size and placement of text. You have a template and text styles in InDesign, use those. Use a grid to organize text and graphics, which can be usually invisible. I've seen it work well as a graphic element, but I would probably say keep it in the background. Keep your layout simple. Resist the urge to put too much material on one page with a big sort of asterisk after this. As you get to the more complex projects in Studio 3 and 4, you can get a fair amount of information on one page, and I'll show you some effective layouts. Typically use letter size, or at least keep it in landscape orientation, because most of our images that we're working with are going to be wider than they are high. A lot of folks, when they first do their portfolio, put all these extraneous graphic doodads to make the pages more interesting or do interesting backgrounds. It's like, you don't need to do that. Your work is interesting enough. A lot of people say, oh, it has to be livened up. Unless you're an aspiring graphic designer, you just want to keep it clean, simple, straightforward. I would strongly recommend using a white background for clarity and ease of reproduction, with the thought that, you know, this is going to be hard copy as well as digital. Avoid images or backgrounds that go to the edge of the sheet unless you're either using a professional printer or it's only going to exist on the web. This is called full bleeds, but it's hard to do it. It's only possible on a few printers and professional printers. A safe white margin is around 1/4 of an inch. If you're a daring person, you can go to about 1/8 of an inch. I suggest still, because I'm in the world of portfolio pages being hard copy facing pages, 2-page spreads. Think of the layout as 2 pages facing each other. The material on the left-hand page, if you're doing a multiple page layout, should match with or relate to the right-hand page. You could have images that span 2 pages, particularly in digital portfolio, but make sure critical information is not lost in the little fold, what's called the gutter between the 2 pages. Use straightforward typefaces. Don't do like crazy looking typefaces and fonts. They're just distracting. We want this to communicate really clearly. And don't be afraid of white space. You may see some of the layouts I give you have a lot of stuff on them, some don't. But white space is not an enemy. These are more InDesign notes. There's a dynamic spelling option in InDesign that helps you with errors. Better yet, write out your descriptions in Microsoft Word first. Consider embedding graphic files in InDesign. This is a technical thing with InDesign. If you move between multiple computers, you know, now that we're all working at home, you may not have to do that. So that's just a little technical note. Very important, the text, and this is why I'm so glad you're doing it while you're in studio, the text, you have to go beyond what you were assigned. That's very brief. Describe what you achieved. What was your design resolution? And your studio instructor can help you with this. Be brief. Always err on the side that you want to keep it short. Font sizes and combinations. For portfolios, I suggest 18 points for headings, 9 points for body text, 6 points for captions, which are just little things that go under the pictures or illustrations. These are a little bit of a minimum. You could go a little bigger, but not a lot bigger. Some typeface combinations that work really well. You may not have these typefaces on your computer, but this is just some examples. Here we're seeing combination of what are called sans serif, the more modern fonts, with serif fonts, which are more old-fashioned. Serifs are those little extra lines at the end of the text. You could also just use one typeface throughout your portfolio. So I'm going to show you now a couple pages, and then actually, let me just do this because these are some facing spreads. Here, the magnification is a little bit off. This is 159 project, and a really nice spread of 2 layouts. This one is, lets me switch. Just a second, because the graphics aren't quite working. Share screen, and I am going to switch to Madison's portfolio, just to embarrass her. Whoops. Oh no, here we go. Victor Pedraza, and I'll try to get to Madison's as well. People, don't fuss over your cover of your portfolio. That you can do at the end, bringing your best work forward. And so here, this is really nice. He starts with artwork, and I'll just go through these parts really quickly. Some really nice, wonderful drawings.
Professor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to say this is mine, not Victor's.
Yes. This is your.
Oh.
This is Victor.
I'm sorry, I thought you were like, this is Victor's. And I was like,
this is Victor's. I'll get to you next.
Wait, what?
Oh, wait a minute. You're right. There's a little green line around yours, not around Victor's.
Yes, she knows her own work.
I was going to say, whoa, that's really crazy. Me and Victor have really identical portfolios.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, Madison's portfolio. I wanted particularly Madison to give her a lot of praise. Very clean layouts and a really nice portfolio, because I know many of you are interior design majors. And I think she did a really lovely job. Nice one-page layouts for the 109 projects. You know, just a model, just the best of these. A really nice layout for Studio 2. Photograph of models, nice clean layouts, Photoshop, clear descriptions, easy to read. Very nice Photoshop composition, and then these actually could have been spaced out a little bit more. The plans, elevations, and section through the Studio 2 project. And here's a really wonderful palette of finishes and for that Studio 2 project. A nice hand rendering as part of 160. And here, a very nice analysis done as part of Paula's Studio 3 class, and then a really nice conceptual analysis based on that. Nice.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Sure you can, Lisa.
Are these 2 pages, one next to another?
Yes, they are.
Okay, thank you. That was it.
There you go. I love this page particularly, and the project. Fantastic sketches, but that's just something Madison does really well. And the schematics, great photographs, and then a full nice key image of the object, the lamp in this case, illuminated. Very impactful. And then the final project for the studio, laid out really nice, orderly grid. Everything looks in its place.
Michael, can I ask you, are these 8.5 by 11 sheets then paired?
Side by side.
So, and that's what you recommend now, right?
That's what I recommend, yeah. Yeah. Right now, we're really, so much is going to be digital. I like 8.5 by 11 because when we get around to the world of printing, you can print 8.5 by 11 in so many places. And it's about the right scale. Much bigger sheets of paper for presenting on the screen don't work very well. They'll be okay. Like if people want to do ledger size, 11 by 17, that's okay. But I would recommend 8.5 by 11 for basically a good size for presenting on digitally, and a good size for presenting if you actually print them out.
Well, can I just add to that, that one of the difficulties with the larger size is that they don't fit on the shelf well. So when you have to store them, it's hard to store them. So yeah, 8.5 by 11 works well, whether it's landscape or portrait. So
yes, Yes, I heavily favor this wider landscape orientation, but and that the portfolio book that I worked from, 90% of their portfolios were in landscape format, but you could potentially do either. So let me now, I have to stop share, and I'm going to start another share. And this time I am going to share Victor. Where is Victor? Come on. I have, like everything, I have a cluttered desktop here, my virtual desktop. Here we go, Victor. There's I just because I'm mindful of time, everyone should be seeing Victor's now. And again, although I want to focus on the final projects, there's this really nice buildup from the beginning to of drawing Art 105, charcoal drawings. The handwork is really appealing in a portfolio. You folks may be really focused on digital output, but I can't tell you how much of an impact drawing by hand and sketching can really make on a digital media. We get very jaded by seeing a lot of pristine digital renderings. And this is wonderful. It shows a process. This is a Studio One project. Nice, simple.
The transfer schools really want to see handwork,
Yes.
freehand diagrams, and models. So rather than all 3D work, all digital work.
Well, and the other thing is they also want to see your process. They don't want to see just this final wonderful object. They want to know how you got there. So study models, sketches, diagrams, really important.
Here we have that in this spread. And then the final drawings and presentation. A nice page from presentation techniques of a hand rendering, and then the final project, which Victor was very proud of, the case study. Another analysis, yes, because he was also in the same studio as Madison, but a very different approach to the analysis, but nice graphically clear sheets. A really beautiful spread here as far as the light fixture and how that was developed, and giving a whole page to a really nice, really good image of the light fixture illuminated, as well as the process sketches. And here, this is about as complex as they get. There's a lot of information on this page, but it's so clearly and neatly organized. And I really like that Victor, at this point, he is starting to put in bold his key concepts. I love that. And here, everything is nicely aligned in columns and rows. It's not super rigid. There's sketches, models, computer models, and very clear graphics. This is a lot going on, but it reads extremely well. So I could show one more, or I could stop for questions. I have to also leave in about 5 minutes. I'll show one more.
And can you also show us where you've stored these?
Yes. Oh, Betsy,
have
they are
access.
stored on the ADC instructors site. An ADC instructors site.
So we would have to take them off, Betsy, if we wanted to.
Yeah, they're under files. I gave you a
Yeah,
link
thanks.
to take you straight to it. Share screen, and I just.
You're saying only we have access to it.
I believe so. The students could try, but I think only we have access. I just want to show you one from a little while ago. Nicole Gonzalez, and another really, nice. Generally, portfolios are chronological. again, nice work. A lot of information, but it's nicely organized. It reads well together. A really good close-up of the model. I particularly wanted to show this because she's got some later work, which I think is really pages that are complex but readable. So here, for example, this research on Frank Lloyd Wright, the same studio with Paula, and very nice, clear organization. These pages, I think, are super successful with inspiration from falling water translated into the light fixture. And even the colors all work together on this, as well as the layouts. And then I find this a very effective spread for a Design 3 project. There's a lot of information here, but it's very well organized and very clear. And I like the relatively, it's not soft, kind of neutral palette. Victor, hit us with some colors, but there's also a bit of, now we're getting a bit of Nicole's personality. So it's not one size fits all. But I think that what I really liked in the portfolios that I showed you is they give us a really good feeling for the student, their work, their design sensibilities, and what they can do. So if you want to take advantage of my office hours, you want to go over things with me, you can just use the same link. I'm available between 1 and 2 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'm going to have to leave you folks now, and I think you probably have to leave too, so I'll stop the share.
Thanks so much, Michael. That was great.
Oh, cool. All these people from
Thank you.
I want to see everyone
Yes.
before I go.
I think that's very helpful.
Great.
So you all have a good weekend, and it's really nice to see everybody in Paula's class.
It was
And
great to see all of you in 259. I miss you.
Thank you.
so
Miss
maybe
you too.
Yeah, and maybe Paula and I will be doing this some more. So let's see, Michael, I guess if you get off, then that cuts
I'll
everybody
cut you
off.
off. I'll end the meeting for all.
Okay.
So next time, maybe we'll do it another way so you can stay on and talk.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.